The urgency of the first question comes from the public statements of our intelligence services, including from Germany, Denmark, Finland, the Netherlands, and from our region, that Putin can be ready to test Article 5 during the next 2 or 4 years before 2030. If Russia wins, a scenario by Carlo Massala, the well-known German analyst, who is also a professor in Bundeswehr University, presents a threatening scenario when NATO fails to agree on how to react when Narva is occupied. I don't want to elaborate on Carlo Massala's scenario, but defending the Baltics means to be ready for different scenarios. And I would like to remind everybody that the Treaty of European Union contains a famous Article 42(7) on mutual assistance in the case of military aggression against a single member state, which some experts are calling a stronger one than NATO Article 5 in terms of the obligations of member states to help each other. But my talk today will be devoted not to discuss how NATO or EU is preparing to defend the Baltic states, but more to how the Baltic states are preparing to defend themselves and at the same time to defend the whole European Union, and how the Union can help the Baltic states in this heavy strategic task. I have had possibility to read only United Kingdom 2025 UK Strategic Defence Review, which shows that they really learned the lessons from Ukraine. In the future, the British military will prepare to strike 80% of targets with different types of drones and missiles, and only 20% with classical means, tanks and artillery. Very much like they are doing in Ukraine. What's about us in the Baltics? Where are our strategic defense reviews? And in addition to that, we need to answer ourselves the question, what do we need to be ready for? For a classical war of aggression with tanks and artillery rolling all over our borders, which triggers the Article 5 of NATO? Or do we need to be ready for an increasing scale of dangerous provocations against us, but which are remaining below Article 5? And are we preparing ourselves for such kind of aggression when not tanks will roll over our borders, but only drones and missiles will attack our energy infrastructure and will destroy it? That is why the Eastern Flank Watch, the project initiated by Baltic states and Poland, supported by all the frontier countries, and now defined by the European Commission as one of the initial 4 most important flagship defense projects of the European Union, is so important for the whole frontier region, from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea, from Finland down to Romania and Bulgaria. We need to learn how to do defense together and how to develop such important projects together with Ukraine and including Ukraine. We need to remember that if day X comes and Putin decides to test Article 5 somewhere in the Baltic region, we shall face the aggression of a Russian battle-tested army, which is now much stronger than it was back in February 2022, and is able to use millions of drones. Ukrainians are saying that Russians are as good as defenders of Ukraine in using drones. Are we also so good? Are we really prepared for such a day X, despite the fact that we do not have battle-tested armies in the Baltic states? We should remember that integration of Ukraine with the European Union is, of course, very much needed for Ukraine. And Ukraine deserves that, despite all the recent corruption scandals. But what we need to stress, and Baltic defenders should do that, is that Ukraine integration is also a vital interest of the European Union, because that is how real European defense readiness can be built before 2030. My message today is very simple. Baltic defense can be built only together with Ukraine and together with the whole frontier region. That can be done only if the Baltic region will start to look not only at what needs to be done in each Baltic country individually, but also what needs to be built together in the whole Eastern Flank region, including Ukraine. Baltic initiative here is more than welcome, and the same with the European Union. The European Union can help the region if you will help us to help you, if you will be active and visible with your ideas, not only in the Baltic region, but also in the whole European Union, including the Mediterranean region and including Brussels.